Hi, welcome to Now You Know. My name is Chaya Suri from Spice and Zest, and I will teach you everything you need to know about sourdough baking. Today we're going to talk about scoring sourdough bread and baking it. I'm going to show you different scoring patterns from simple to a little bit more fancy so you can play around and know how to do them yourself. Scoring the bread is when you cut a little bit of the dough before baking the bread. You can use this special tool which is called a lame. There's a double-edged razor added to it onto this little tool. The double-edged razor is a very sharp razor blade which will help get you nice, precise cuts. Why do you score the bread? Because when you bake the bread at a high temperature, which we're going to be baking it to get that nice crispy crust, you want to give space for the dough to open and expand when it bakes before the crust fully forms. If you don't score it, it might just explode somewhere because as it grows in the oven, which is called the oven spring, the crust will form fast and it won't have that space to expand. So that's why we score the dough, to help the bread expand before the crust forms. I will show you different scoring patterns. You don't need to do more than just one line. Some bakers have their own signature scores. Some bakers like to play around with the different designs, make flowers, which I'm going to show you how to do. So here we have our bread, which was rising overnight in the fridge. I like to keep it in the fridge overnight. This way the dough becomes more firm and it's easier to score. If you're going to be keeping it on the counter for 2 hours, same day bake, then my suggestion is to put it into the freezer for the last 10 to 15 minutes of the rise time. This is just going to help to firm up the dough and it's going to be easier to score. So what you do is you just turn over your Benetton onto the parchment paper. You got your dough out. If you find that your dough is a little bit sticking to the basket, then just give a slight bang onto the counter and usually it should be coming out. If it doesn't, then you might need to flour it better next time you bake. The first score that I'm going to show you is just going to be a simple line across. So here you can see the basket gave the dough some nice round shape, what we have over here. And this is why I don't line my baskets. We're going to do just one simple line across. When you do this score, you want to keep the blade at an angle so it's going to open up. It's going to give you what we call an ear. And only use the tip of the blade, which is going to give you a nice clean cut. This is how we do our simple score across. Make sure that you have it scored on both ends all the way. This is going to help get you that nice ear that bakers are always looking for. You want to cut in a little bit deep, as you can see here, not just on the surface. This would be just a surface cut. And now we're going to add the dough to our preheated Dutch oven. Just lift the parchment paper, put it into the Dutch oven, and cover the Dutch oven. We're going to bake it covered for approximately 18 to 20 minutes and then uncover and bake for additional 15 minutes. Since we're baking the bread at a high temperature, the crust can form really fast. That's why we bake it in the Dutch oven covered. That will keep in the steam in the Dutch oven and it will help the dough rise before the full crust forms. After about 18 to 20 minutes, we're going to uncover it and let the bread get really crispy. So now I'm going to show you different scoring patterns. We're going to do a flower, we're going to do some other designs. To get the nice designs on the bread, you're going to want to add a little more flour and just get all those ridges that we saw before that the basket made. We're just going to make it nice and smooth. And now we're going to do different designs. I will show you how to make a flower. When scoring, you always want to have at least one deeper score, and the rest can be just a surface score, which I'm going to show you now. The flower, we're going to do like 4 leaves. A little bit on an angle so you get that deep score, and you're going to do that on all 4 sides. Now If it's not like a perfect leaf that you see from one side to the other, it's fine, because once you're gonna bake it, it's gonna open up and it's gonna look really pretty. If you see that I'm only using the tip of my blade and not the full blade. And now I'm gonna make a little bit more designs, and that's not gonna be a deep scoring. If you see, it's just a very shallow cut. You can make a little bit lines over here. And once it bakes, it's gonna open up really pretty. It's gonna look like a nice flower. Next, I'm going to show you one that we divide into 4 sections, and then we make like a little leaf on all 4 ends. It looks really pretty once baked. It opens up really nicely. So what you're going to do is, you're just going to make a line in the center. You're going to turn the dough and make another line in the center. Now you got yourself 4 sections, and we're just going to make a nice little design that looks like a wheat. And when it bakes, it's going to open up really nicely. This next design is a really cool design that I'm going to show you. Keep in mind that how you score the bread will also affect the oven spring. So this one is going to rise a little differently than the one that you just do one line across. But you're not doing anything wrong. It's just how you score the bread will affect how your bread rises in the oven. Again, we're going to add the flour on top and smooth it down. And for this one, I'm going to use a very thin string. You can use a floss to help guide where you want the scoring tool, the lame, to go. So what we're going to do is we're going to do like an X. I'm going to do a whole bunch of just little scores all around the bread. It's going to look super cool once baked and when it's going to open up. So I'm just going to follow the line right here, the center line, and I'm doing very, very shallow, small cuts. And I'm going to just continue doing this for all 4 lines. Once I have it on all 4 sides, I'm just going to fill in the rest with a small score, and this is just going to guide me where to go. If you get a little bit wider scores, bigger scores, it's okay. It doesn't have to be even. It's going to look really cool once baked and opened up. Now I'm going to do my deeper score. I like to do it a little bit freeform, not an exact straight line, but you can do however you feel comfortable. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to score it like a little bit of a swirl on top, and when it bakes, it's going to look really cool. It's going to open up really nicely. And now we're ready to bake this. This one I'm going to show you now is also really nice because you can customize it however you like. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to score a square, and in that square you can put your initials, you can put, if you want to make a flower or whatever you want to put into that square. Some people like to get these stencils, put it on top and put some cocoa over it or flour over it, so you get like a nice picture. You can have some fun. So what I do is, again, just 2 lines on the 2 ends, and then bring it the 2 lines over here, so you get yourself a square. When you score it, also score it a little bit on an angle, so it's going to help open up the square. And I'm just going to make a wheat again, but you can make whatever design or initial you like. And when it bakes it, again, it opens up really pretty. The bread's out of the oven. We learned everything you need to know about a sourdough starter, putting up your sourdough bread, scoring the bread, and baking. Look at the beautiful end result. I hope you're going to try this out in your own kitchen and have fun with it.